So good afternoon everybody. This is Group 2 of BSM Prep 1B, and our topic will based on the Trojan War, which is the Kingdom of Troy, characters and conflict of the story, and also the value that we learn after the discussion. So we can start. It was an ancient city located at Hisarlik in the present day. It is Turkey, around 30 kilometers or 19 miles southwest of Kanakhali, and it also known as the setting for the Greek myth of the Trojan War. So let's proceed to the Kingdom of Troy's characters. Paris. Paris is a good warrior but inferior to his brother Hector and to the Greek leaders whom he faced. Next is Helen. Helen is the wife of Menelaus, the Spartan king. She was abducted by the Trojan prince Paris, and later she became a wife of Paris. Hector. Hector is the chief lane warrior of the Trojan army. He is also the eldest son of the Trojan king Priam and his queen Hecuba. Queen Hecuba is the wife of King Priam and the mother of Paris and Hector. King Priam, the king of Troy, and the leader of the Trojans and father of Paris and Hector. Athena. Athena is the goddess of war and offered to Paris the gift for victory in the battle. Next is Hera. Hera is the goddess of home, promised Paris to be the king of all men. And Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the goddess of love, offered him Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world, and marriage. Hermes, the counselor and guide to the Trojan king Priam in his attempt to reclaim the body of his son Hector. Ares, the god of war, and supported the Troy than the Greek. Apollo fought for the side of Troy, which sent arrow with the deceased to Greek camp. That makes a lot of soldiers died and weak. Next is the soldiers of Troy. Depending on the great city of Troy, led by the king Priam, had assistance for a long list of allies. Ares, the goddess of strife and discord, who threw golden apple, which started the quarrel of the three goddesses. Leto, the one who support the Troy and stand opposite side of Hermes. Thetis, deeply involved the affair of gods and men. And lastly is Aeneas, a mythical hero of Troy and Rome, the member of the royal line and cousin of Hector. So let's proceed to the Kingdom of Troy's conflict. First is the judgment of Paris. So the Trojan War begins when Zeus decided to host a massive feast in honor of Thetis and Peleus' marriage. The conflict began with a dispute between the three goddesses over the golden apple, known as the Apple of Discord. So when Ares, the goddess of strife and discord, was not invited, she was turned away, so she flung the golden apple among the goddesses there to the fairest. Athena offered Paris the gift for victory on the battle. Hera promised Paris to be the king of all men, and when Aphrodite promised to Paris Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world. But unfortunately, Helen was married already to Menelaus. The abduction of Helen. Paris chose Aphrodite. However, Helen was the wife of Menelaus, the king of Sparta. Paris, under the disguise of a diplomatic mission, went to Sparta to kidnap Helen so he could bring him back to Troy. However, before Helen could look up to see Paris, she was shot with an arrow by Eros or Cupid and fell in love with Paris as soon as she saw him. The first Battle of Trojan. The Trojan War was struck when Agamemnon captured a priestess of Apollo and refused to return by the Archean. So this plug may have been bubonic since it was connected with the aspect of Apollo. So Agamemnon agreed only to return if he could had a substitute prize of war, which is Greece, Achilles' concubine. Patroclus fight as Achilles. So Patroclus served as an alternative of Achilles to let him lead Achilles' troop and even the armor of him land. Patroclus went to the battle and a lot of number of killing Trojans. But upon mistaking, Hector killed Patroclus. That all he knows it was Achilles. So Achilles was grieved by the death of Patroclus. That made him reconciled with the joy or with the group of Agamemnon. Next is the death of Hector. So Achilles met Hector during the combat, and by that, he killed Hector in a single combat. In over madness and grief over Patroclus' death, Hector's body dishonored and tied a belt on a chariot. Achilles started dragging around the ground. King Priam, the father of Hector, pursued to stop abusing and return the body for proper funeral. Next is the death of Paris. From kidnapping Helen, slaying Achilles, and killing numerous Archeans, he even fought one-on-one to Menelaus. For Paris was in danger of killing, but his protector protected him. Philoctetes, who had been wounded, asked for a bow and poisoned arrow and bring him in front of the battle, shot the arrow to Paris, though it was only scratched, but the poison inflicted on the wounded part of his body that was enough to kill the prince. Lastly is the wooden horse. So during the burial and mourning of Paris, the body ceremonial. So also, it is the time of doing the erection of the wooden horse filled with the Archeans to the left part of the Troy gate. The Trojans noticed Archean ship sailing away, and the wooden giant horse thought that it was a peace offering from the Archeans. So they destroyed the left side of the Trojan trapdoor just to enter the giant horse. They rejoiced, feasted, and fell asleep, not knowing that the Archeans started to open the trapdoor. So when the Archeans opened, immediately the Archean torched the Troy, killing the men and taking all the women in prison. Menelaus go to King Priam to kill. And lastly, he went to Helen to be reunited. So on that part, the Troy lost. So the values that we learned after the discussion is first respect. So a leader must be respectful to his community like Achilles, withdrawing the war because he feels his honor has been insulted by Agamemnon when he stole his prize of war Agamemnon not only stolen, but he did not ask for the apology nor the acknowledgement that might be unfair or hard either to Achilles. Next is temper and reconciliation. So Hector successfully negotiated the Greek. However, he took his younger brother, which eventually both and started the Trojan War, to reconcile to their opponent, though no matter how hard to do, but in a minor fault, destroy things in a second. Next is never win on a war. So everybody doesn't know that everybody is lost on a war. So though everybody wants to fight for their rights and their feelings, but in the end, no one wins on the game of war. So like for Achilles, fought for his glory. Hector fought for his country. Agamemnon fought for his power. And Paris fought for his love to Helen. And Menelaus fought for his revenge. But in the end, all are died and lost. So no one wins the game of war. Next is never and underestimate others. So everybody do not judge other with the presence on the first scene. So having an outnumber of the army, Greeks underestimate the power of Trojans. So always remember that you will never estimate your opponent's strength until you evolve to apply to them, just like them. Next is be an observant. Do not accept anything immediately from your enemy. Investigate and check many times before accepting. So, as they all know that the Archons already sailing away, so they know or they already know that it is already their peace offering. But unfortunately, the distraction that will make them lost. So, beware of accepting gifts from your enemy or neither to anyone which is anonymous on you. Next is a logical prediction. Trojan prepared for every battle and they have enough stocks of supplies. So King Primes believed on the prophecy and earlier prepared and planned. That was a strategy. But unfortunately, they decided to accept the Trojan giant horse as the successful of prophecy told him that it is only a gift. And soon this gift led to destruction of Troy. So prediction must be reason, but we should not based on our success in our past. So that's all of our discussion or report. So meet the group 2. Guys, this is the group 2. Jessa, Jocelyn, Kian, Ryan, Monica, Karen, Leia, Marife, Bernalu, and Junslu. So this is our references. Thank you for listening and watching. God bless you all.